Mazda is predicting about 188 horsepower and 170 pounds-to-foot of torque from the 2.0-litre Skyactiv-X. Today's 2.0-litre Skyactiv-G engine, as fitted to the 3, makes 155 horsepower and 150 pounds-to-foot of torque, putting the X on a similar plane as the up-level 3's 184 horsepower 2.5-litre 4. Mazda further claims the X will be up to 30% more efficient than the smaller Skyactiv-G. We'll try to confirm those claims when we eventually test a production spec Skyactiv-X in about 2 years when the next Gen 3 reaches dealerships. In its current state of tune, the prototype engine is functional. That's noteworthy only because the SPSI tech is so unique that its working didn't seem like a given until we had keyed the ignition for ourselves. Mazda's engineers are operating on a more ambitious plane, however, and are adamant that they didn't want the X's efficiency to come with any compromises that would threaten the brand's zoom image. They're on the right track, because the X is plenty responsive and feels about as powerful as the current Mazda 3's larger 2.5-litre 4. According to Mazda, there's nothing inherently bad about this knocking phenomenon. It's a necessary concession to the complex, on-the-fly switchover between ignition types. The automaker plans to mask the sound, likely using insulation around the engine to make it less noticeable. Stifling the X's weirder noises will be critical, because like the latest CX-5, the new 3, even in pre-production guise, is noticeably more hushed than its predecessor. A steady 115 miles per hour on the Autobahn sounded like 80 miles per hour in our recently departed 2015 Mazda 3 hatchback. The interiors of the cars we drove were entirely unfinished and lacked trim, so no judgments can be made about quality or design. Our limited exposure to fast, curvy roads during our drive hinted that the new 3 is just as satisfying to drive as the current model, with the benefit of a more composed ride and more refined wheel control on bumpy surfaces. The steering is still a joy to use, although final calibration of the chassis systems is ongoing. In short, the 3 feels every bit like an evolution of today's 10 best cars winning model. Only now, in addition to being fun to drive, the next 3 promises better fuel economy, more power, and an available working compression ignition gasoline engine. We have only 2 years to decide which feat is more impressive.